Today, we've got another great brand builder case study. This is Saimah Chaudhry. And Saimah has a really cool story that we can all learn from because she's done a really good job of starting with a small niche and building multiple streams of income around her passion and expertise. Now, Saimah turned a single smart car rental on Turo into a fleet of over 40 vehicles and a thriving digital business. She built what she calls the PowerHost.Club, and it's a platform teaching others how to succeed in peer-to-peer car sharing. So what she did is she did really well at her main thing and then built new streams of income around that. And what started as a simple side gig evolved into a YouTube channel with thousands of subscribers, a comprehensive course helping others replicate her success. And her journey from car rental novice to respected industry expert showcases the power of identifying and dominating a niche market. So I think this is a really fun example to look at. We're going to go through her whole sales funnel today to see how she did it. It all started here on a platform called Turo, which some people use to make money renting out their car, or in her case, she built a whole business around renting cars. And this is what's really key is whatever you are doing well right now, like your primary income stream, you can go ahead and build a whole new business teaching other people and helping other people do the same thing. And I've done this in my own agency. A lot of the clients that we work with are people who have succeeded at their main expertise, and now they're teaching others how to do it. And you can double your income with very little extra work. And in fact, you can actually basically just optimize your own business and then sell that as a product. What I mean by that is what Saimah did here. She really just went behind the scenes, showing how she runs her business and sold that as a product. And in doing that, she made her own business even better because by documenting, by breaking down and optimizing your own business, you will get better results. And then in doing that, you also create a digital product that you can share. So I've dug deep into Saimah's journey to find the key lessons you can apply to your own business. And in this episode, you'll learn how to identify and dominate a lucrative niche market, strategies for building a loyal audience through consistent, valuable content, and tips for creating and monetizing digital products based on your expertise. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap for turning your passion into a profitable online business. Plus, I'll share a powerful brand builder shortcut that could fast track your path to success. So if that sounds good to you, welcome. My name is Andrew Lane, and this is the Brand Builder Shortcuts podcast. Let's go ahead and get into it. So if this is your first time watching, I want to break down what I call the brand builder trifecta. And this is the lens through which we will look at today's case study, because every brand has three main pillars. And if you get these three pillars right, you'll start to see huge growth in your income and impact in your business. Now, pillar number one is marketing. Number two is messaging. Number three is monetization. So first, let's go ahead and look at Saimah's marketing strategy. And this is how she built an audience from the ground up. Now, marketing is the lifeblood of any successful brand. And without it, even the best products or services can go unnoticed. And many entrepreneurs struggle with getting their message in front of the right people, often feeling lost in a sea of online content. Now, Saimah's journey gives us some great lessons in organic growth and audience building. So number one, she started with real world interactions. As I mentioned, she had a real business doing real things. And her marketing strategy began with face-to-face conversations. She paid attention to the questions her Turo renters asked repeatedly and using these insights to create content that addressed their concerns. So the lesson there is you don't have to make things up. Just take what's already being brought up in your day-to-day conversations in your business, and that could be the core of your content. Next, she leveraged existing platforms. So instead of starting from scratch, she went right to YouTube where there's already a huge audience. And specifically, people were looking for these answers, right? So she knew what people were asking. She found that they were already searching on YouTube for answers to those questions. And boom, there's how you start to grow. You start to show up when people are searching for those, and you want your face, your brand, your content to show up in front of them. So why not start, in this case, on the second largest search engine in the world, which is YouTube. And that is where her audience growth really happened. I looked around at her other social channels, very small following on Instagram. She has a small Facebook group with like 400 people. So really all of her business revenue has come from attracting people through YouTube. And for her, consistency is key. So for 6 years, she created content without seeing much growth. And lucky for her, the persistence paid off when the market conditions aligned with her expertise, leading to a big surge in her audience. And I've heard this story a lot. People will create content, especially on YouTube, for a long time. And then once something pops, you get one good video that starts to rank and show up, it will trickle down to all of your other videos. So usually it's not like all of your videos are getting more and more views. It comes from one video popping, then people go and check out your other content, they subscribe, and now they start to watch your other content. So when it comes to consistency, her efforts paid off because once she did get traction, it started to increase the views on all of her other content. And now when people subscribe to your channel, they'll start to see your content when you put it out, which is really free advertising. And next up, she had to adapt to her audience feedback. She refined her content strategy based on audience comments and requests. And this responsiveness helped her create more targeted, valuable content that resonated with her viewers. So, one of the biggest fears that comes up a lot when it comes to niching down and being very specific in what you're teaching is the fact that there's maybe not a huge audience. And in this case, this feels like a pretty tiny audience. I did not realize there were that many people who were renting out their car to create side income through a platform like Turo. And she's even niched down, I think, specifically to Turo as far as the kind of educational content that she creates. So it's very specific, but that actually creates a higher demand for people who are doing that. And the good news is a platform like Turo has already done the work to attract those people and create the platform. So she's kind of riding that wave. And that's the next point is ride the wave of industry growth. So as Turo's popularity increased, Saimah's established presence in the niche allowed her to capitalize on the growing interest. And this highlights the importance of positioning yourself in emerging markets. So even if it's not quite there yet, if you start today, if you start getting content out there, if you start to show YouTube and other algorithms that you are the expert in that field, once it does hit a larger audience, it'll start to rank you up there because you have that track record, that digital thumbprint to show that you're a credible expert in the field. So the key takeaway from Saimah's marketing approach is the power of patience and persistence. And success rarely happens overnight. And by consistently providing value and adapting to your audience's needs, you can build a strong foundation for long-term growth. So let's take a quick look here at her videos, popular content. She had one here with 360,000 views, 325, 306. Top three videos there are about 3 years old. And then her fourth one is about 6 years old. So that definitely benefited from the other ones getting a lot of traction. And she has a pretty consistent view count, like several videos with over 100K. So it shows that people really dive deep. It looks like it's a very dedicated audience. And the average here, it's dwindling down to like 49, 40s. So it really feels like out of her 70,000 subscribers, a lot of them are pretty dedicated viewers and consumers of her content. Makes sense because they're making money when they learn from her, and she's addressing like real problems that they're facing in their day-to-day business. Her overall look and feel is not too like over the top professional. Some of the thumbnails don't even have text on it or any kind of graphics. It's just a screenshot from the video. Overall, the graphics are not super high end. What we do see is she's doing the videos in the cars, which is really cool. So again, that's similar to some of the other case studies I've shared with you is just take the videos, record the stuff in the environment that you're doing it. And that can really just solve a lot of problems, make it easier, and people relate to it more. They don't expect over the top production. She's literally doing selfie videos inside a car, and these are getting hundreds of thousands of views. So a takeaway there that we can all learn from is maybe don't overcomplicate this. Just get it done, get the content out there. And I don't even think these are really edited hardly at all. Some of them are like in an office environment, but the ones in a car sitting there doing selfies are still getting huge traction. So next up, let's look at the messaging strategy. Now that she's getting that audience, she's getting people viewing her content on YouTube in particular. The question is, how do you convert that audience into customers? Now, many entrepreneurs struggle to articulate their value, or maybe they fail to address their audience's pain points in their messaging. So if you're trying to get someone to go do something and buy from you, if they don't take action, it's because you're missing a few key ingredients. And in Saimah's approach, we can learn a lot from how she did this. So let's take a look. Number one, she addressed common pain points. She focused on answering the most frequent questions her renters asked. This strategy ensured that her messaging would resonate with their real concerns. And I think that's really a good strategy for her. We can see just blunt, casual kind of just, hey, let me just help you out. I'm going to answer some questions that I'm getting. And by growing her audience, she also had access to really what's on their brain and on their mind. So by studying the comments, the concerns that were coming up, she could see what they needed answers to. And that made her messaging resonate much more, not only for her free content, but she could take those insights and apply it to a paid program as well. And what she did well was she simplified complex topics. The car rental and sharing industry can be confusing for newcomers. So Saimah broke down complex topics into easily digestible content, making her expertise more accessible. So she targeted newbies. And really, in this space, there wasn't a lot of education, anyways. So she had to provide some basics, and it didn't have to be that crazy. And since she was doing it on a daily basis and running her own business, she had that credibility and insights to really give some good answers. Next, show, don't just tell. And by documenting her own journey and experiences on YouTube, she provided real world examples of her strategies in action. This helped her build credibility and trust with her audience. And I think this is really cool in your messaging. Like, how are you building that connection and establishing yourself as a thought leader? Just showing what you're actually doing instead of coming up with theory or trying to make the perfect content or sales funnel. Just directly speak to the problems that they have, show that you've solved those problems, and get that in front of them as easily and quickly as possible. And here's another really cool tip. She created a sense of community. So on her YouTube, there's a lot of engagement with comments and interactions, consistent content, but she also created a membership program she called the PowerHost.Club, where she could get more in behind the scenes conversations and get to know her like top followers much better. Now, this is a paid program, but what's cool about it is from those behind the scenes interactions and really digging in deeper with some people who are paying for more premium access and support, that can trickle down into your public content. So you don't have to rely on just the stuff people are saying publicly on YouTube comments, but if you get them in a private container, whether it's free or paid, you don't have to mention the names or any specifics about what they're asking, but you can use those insights of what you're seeing behind the scenes and then share that, hey, you're not alone. A lot of people are having these same challenges. Here's one thing that came up in our membership group. You can kind of subtly sell your membership. Here's some stuff that's coming up a lot behind the scenes in our paid membership group. Just wanted to share a couple of insights and takeaways with you. That can turn into public content that also actually becomes a sales funnel and sparks their curiosity of what the heck is going on behind the scenes. Sounds like that'd be of value to me. Let me go check it out. So in a way, by mentioning what's going on behind the scenes in her paid membership, she can kind of sell in a very helpful way without it feeling over the top salesy. The final tip here when it comes to messaging is to evolve with your audience. So as her audience's needs changed, she adopted her messaging to address new concerns, such as the challenges of buying cars in the current market. And this flexibility keeps your messaging relevant and valuable. So in most industries, things are changing pretty quick, and that gives you an opportunity to stay on the cutting edge and continually provide value as things change and evolve, and should make it much easier to come up with content on a regular basis. If you're tapped into the trends, the concerns, and challenges coming up for your audience, there's really an endless source of content ideas for you. So the key to Saimah's messaging success lies in her ability to listen to her audience and provide solutions to their specific problems. By focusing on delivering genuine value and building relationships, she created a natural path for her audience to become her customers. So let's take a look here at her site, because this is where the messaging really comes together. And actually, I want to take a look first at her YouTube channel and see how she is linking up from her content. So we have links in her about section on YouTube, PowerHost.Club. She really just has one main link she's sending people to. And we see it right here as well. That goes to her site. A video here welcoming them. That's a really good touch. Turo course updated January 2024. So there's like literally almost no sales messaging on this page. It just says the ultimate six-figure Turo course, and it was updated January 2024, and a button to get started. Now, she does a lot of the messaging in the video itself. So it's a very clean, simple page. The logo of her site is really just a simple text font that says PowerHost.Club. There's no imagery on that. There's no other links in the menu bar other than log in or click to view our social icons there. And then below it, we have the other offers as well. The community, which is $6 a week, and that's interesting pricing model there. But overall, there's not a lot going on. I mean, it's one of the most simple sites I've seen with just 3 offers here. The low end community, $6 a week. We have the best selling course. So I think the messaging there is she's calling it a bestseller, and she has a little gold medal as if it's like the number one thing compared to what, I don't know what other courses out there she could even compare it to, but she's positioning it as the best option you'll ever find in the world for this type of content. And each one of these products has a tiny little blurb describing it. And then the final offer is a consultation plus the Turo course. So like a combo of working one-to-one, you get a 1-hour Zoom consultation. So talk about simplicity. This is about as simple as it gets. But scroll down a little bit further. She just continues to sell it. All the tools you need to build a successful Turo business. I developed this easy to digest course based off of 8 years of being a Turo power host. After hosting thousands of trips and earning 6 figures a year, I decided to share my experience and help others build a Turo business. And we have the classic chart here showing proof that she actually makes money doing it, which is pretty much all you need. If you actually have the credibility, you don't need to overcomplicate the page. Just put it on there, make it clear. She's letting the YouTube videos do most of the engagement and education and relationship building. This page is just very clear. Go ahead and join. Here's what it looks like. We have a screenshot scrolling down the page of a Facebook group, and it just shows the PowerHost community. She hosts a weekly live calls where you take your questions. That's it. Facebook group. They can join to get access. Scrolling down, we have, here we go, a free car buying guide to maximize profits. So here's our first lead gen. And this is how, again, if they're not ready to buy, we are collecting leads down here. And also on her site, there was a pop-up. And the pop-up says, get your free ultimate 10-minute guide to starting your Turo business. Just put your email and you get it. And on the page after that, there's just a thank you. And it says your car buying guide to maximize Turo profits is on its way. And then a link to join the PowerHost.Club. So on this page, we have a background graphic of her standing next to a really cool car that we can assume she rents out through Turo. And then we have a like digital mock-up of a guide. And just a quick tip, if you want to make mock-up graphics like the one that I showed you there, you can go to mockup.photos. Let's check it out. I typed in book, and they have some different mock-ups. I could also type in transparent, and we'll see some different mock-ups that have a cutout background. Now, this isn't like a paid sponsorship. It's just a free resource that I've used and recommend if you're looking for a way to create mock-up graphics to make yourself look a little bit more official. You can check that one out. But there's a lot of great digital mock-up sites that you can use to create those kind of graphics. Otherwise, the graphics on our site are very basic and pretty much just screenshots. Now, one last thing, I'm going to look back down here. It looks like the same freebie that was in the pop-up she put at the bottom of the page. And down below, we have privacy policy and other legal documents. There is an FAQ here. Let's see what that looks like. Frequently asked questions. So we got a page with just a few FAQs on it. So nothing crazy. That's it. That's our entire website. If we look at the course sales page, let's take a look at that. So we have another video here. The headline just says PowerHost Turo course. Scrolling down, we have the 2 payment options, pay in full of $720 or 4 payments of $180. We have some FAQs, and that is it. Doesn't get much more simple than this. And finally, the consultation plus the Turo course. And it's just another video. And now we have some testimonials. First time we've seen these. So we have some testimonials on the site below the video, and then the option to buy. It's a one-time payment of $1,120. Now below that, there is a little form that they can fill out if they have any questions. So since it's over $1,000 price point, it looks like she's adding a little bit more testimonials and a chance to connect and reach out. But beyond that, there's really not much else. Super simple sales pages. The messaging is very simple. So let's go ahead and recap the monetization of how she's making money and how this is going for her. Okay, let's take a look here. Starting with free, valuable content. We've covered that using YouTube and building that trust and then moving them over to the website. There's one simple email opt-in to build her email list, but otherwise it's pretty much just go there and buy. Now, based on the demands, the idea for her course came directly from her audience's requests. She paid attention to what her followers were asking for, and then she just solved their problem by putting all of it into a course. She put it all into one centralized hub, PowerHost.Club. It's a one-stop destination for her paid offerings. And she's done a great job of keeping this super simple and clear. Probably the most simple site I have ever seen for this type of business. Just 3 offers right there on the page and 1 freebie. So she has multiple value tiers. She has the free content on YouTube. She has the paid course on her site. She has the community, which is like the lower end, and then the consulting bundle, which also includes the course. And of course, she has been improving and adapting. And I think having that community paid membership where she's doing weekly calls can really help her do that with very minimal effort. So she almost doesn't need to record any new content. She could just record those Zoom group calls where she's answering questions, and that could become bonuses for her course or other content. So I love that model. I like how she structured her business to make it very, very easy. And pretty much any business owner, if you're busy in the weeds of running your main business, doing this kind of model where you just show up for an hour a week to help people out and charge for that could be a great way to build lots of great content. Then you can pull out pieces of that and package it into a course. And it looks like in the future, she may even add additional courses like on how to buy a car, since she bought over 40 cars to use in her rental business. So there's whatever you're doing in your own business could become new products that you sell and teach. All right, so let's wrap up this case study with a quick summary how Saimah built an online business from car rentals, not just doing the rentals online, but teaching how to do it. And here are the key highlights. She started with 1 smart car on Turo, eventually growing to a fleet of 30 or 40 vehicles. She created a YouTube channel to document her entrepreneurial journey. She consistently produced content for 6 years before seeing significant growth. She launched PowerHost.Club, which is a platform offering courses and community for aspiring Turo hosts. She transitioned from 100% physical car rentals to 75% digital product revenue. So most of her revenue is actually coming from her digital products now. She hosts weekly calls with community members to discuss market conditions and strategies. She plans to expand and teach more of what she does behind the scenes to grow her business. And she built all this on one simple platform, plus a Facebook group, plus Zoom. So the tools are really basic, and that's all you really need to build a 6 or even 7-figure online business, teaching what you know. All right, so with that, let's take a look at today's brand builder shortcut. Niche down and double down. And I like that because doubling down also means doubling your revenue. If you're already doing something well, build a whole nother income stream teaching what you're doing well. And one of my favorite quotes from Naval is, pick an industry where you can play long-term games with long-term people. And I think Saimah's done a great job of that. The most crucial takeaway from Saimah's success story is the power of focusing on a niche and committing to it long-term. And here's how you can apply this shortcut to your own business. So identify a niche you're genuinely passionate about and willing to pursue for years. Then immerse yourself in the subject matter, becoming a true expert through hands-on experience and continuous learning. Create consistent, valuable content to build your audience and establish your authority. Listen closely to your audience's needs and pain points. Develop products or services that directly address those needs, starting with free content and progressing to paid offerings. And stay committed to your niche, but be willing to adapt and expand your offerings as your audience grows and their needs evolve. And by following these shortcuts, you'll be well positioned to build a loyal audience, create products they truly want, and develop a sustainable business in your chosen niche. All right, that's it for this episode of Brand Builder Shortcuts. I hope you found this helpful. And if so, please subscribe or share it with a friend who needs a little bit of help and inspiration. And don't forget, check out designhacker.com for all of our episodes and additional resources to help you build a brand that gives you freedom. All right, that's all for now. Talk to you next time.